Stevie J from AngryMarks.com with the latest news in wrestling and MMA for you. And first and foremost, Daniel Bryan is your new WWE champion. I don't know how long that's going to last for. He may get screwed out of it on Raw as soon as tomorrow night. But he did hit Randy Orton in the head with a running knee and pin him as Scott Armstrong counted 1, 2, 3. So, we'll see what that leads to coming tomorrow. But here are the other results from the Night of Champions. Roman Reigns speared Titus O'Neil and Dean Ambrose pinned him 1, 2, 3. The Shield retained their tag titles, which also tells you that the Primetime Players won the tag team turmoil earlier in the night on the pre-show. Speaking of the Shield, Dean Ambrose pinned Dolph Ziggler to retain the United States title after a headlock driver. Decent match. In a two-stage match, CM Punk won the first stage when he hit Curtis Axel with the go-to-sleep and then put him in the Anaconda Vice to make him tap. In the second part, however, Ryback was introduced as the new Paul Heyman guy, spearing CM Punk and putting Heyman's prone body on top of him for Paul Heyman to score the pin. In a bonus match not scheduled for the pay-per-view, The Miz figured Ford Fandango and got him to tap out. Alberto Del Rio was disqualified when he refused to break a cross-arm breaker while Rob Van Dam had his hand on the bottom rope. So he loses the match but retains his title. AJ Lee survived the Fatal 4-Way for the Divas title, defeating Natty Neidhart, Naomi, and Brie Bella. Kofi Kingston came up short in an Intercontinental title match against Curtis Axel when he got hit with the facebuster and pinned for 3. And as mentioned earlier, the Primetime Players won the tag team turmoil that opened the pay-per-view on the pre-show. Now moving on to last night's World Series of Fighting card, Georgie Insane Karakenian versus knockout hitter Waylon Lowe, and Lowe got tapped out at 3:37 of the first round due to a guillotine choke. The former MFC middleweight champion Mutafshik was supposed to compete next against former Ultimate Fighter Jesse JT Money Taylor, but someone on his fight team, or possibly him, took some medicine in an unlabeled bottle that they had not shown to the New Jersey State Athletic Commission, and the commission disallowed Mutafshik from fighting, believing he had taken a banned substance. He tried to explain this away in a backstage interview, and Ray Sefo said that because neither fighter was actually disqualified because of anything they did, in his belief, they would both be given their show money. Which means neither one gets a win bonus, of course, they just get what they were going to be paid to appear anyway. But it was a very bizarre situation. And personally, I think that Mutafshik is just as much to blame as his team, even if he didn't take anything, because his excuse was, well, we're all dressed alike, we're all wearing the same fight colors. If that's the case, then nobody backstage from your team should be taking any prescription medicine. Everybody should have left their stuff in their locker room, in their bags, or in their car, or at home. There's no way you want to take out a bottle of pills when you're all dressed alike and somebody might get confused and think you're taking drugs you're not supposed to be before a fight. That's your own fault, homie. To fill time on the live broadcast, we got a bonus bout from earlier in the night at the Revel. That was Neiman Gracie making his MMA debut against the 0-1 Darren Costa. Would you be surprised to know that Neiman Gracie got a tap out? No, he's a Gracie and he was fighting a guy with an 0-1 record, so you really wouldn't. The official time was 3:57 of the first round. However, Hall's Gracie did not fare nearly as well against Derek Maimon in a heavyweight bout. Derek Maimon threw a right hook that spun Hall's around like a top, and when he stopped spinning, he fell face first and planted into the ground. The ref immediately stopped the fight. I'm serious. If you don't believe me, watch the YouTube replay of this or watch a replay on NBC Sports. He spun around and went down. It was amazing to watch. So congratulations to Derek Maimon. The official time was 2:40 of the second round. The only middleweight tournament bout we got for the entire night on World Series of Fighting was Daniil Villafort versus David Branch, and David Branch had a very technically sound fight that was no fun to watch. 3 straight rounds of taking down Villafort and controlling him. He got a 30-27 from every judge. The main event was Andrei Arlovsky, the Pitbull, versus Mike Mac Kyle. And it was a fun fight. It wasn't the greatest fight I've ever seen. I've seen a lot better heavyweight main events both in World Series of Fighting and in general. But I will say, Arlovsky showed he's not the glass jaw everybody thinks he is. He took a couple of really hard shots from Mike Kyle that knocked him down, but he was able to get back up and for the most part do well enough in the jabbing and boxing and overall game that he was able to outpoint his opponent, and he got a 29-28 decision from all the judges. So that's your Night of Champions and World Series of Fighting report, courtesy of Stevie J, AngryMarks.com. Thank you and good night.